Hello weirdos, welcome back to my channel. My name is EmmaAbe and today I'm going to be looking at the results of the BookTube Prize 2020. If you didn't know, last year I read all of the winners. That video hasn't come out yet because I'm still working through my last book. It's like pulling teeth. I don't like this book, but it's no fault of its own. It's a whole thing. I'll explain it when you see the video, which hopefully will come out soon-ish, definitely within the next like 3 months. I'm going to be looking at the results. I'm gonna be honest, this is not the first time I've seen the results. It's not a complete surprise, but I also kind of want to see like what other books were nominated because I kind of didn't follow the whole voting at all this round, which I meant to, but then I didn't. So let's get started. Here we are on the website. I apologize if I look down a lot. I'm looking at my computer screen. First, for the winner of the fiction is The Midnight Library by Matt Hang. I know nothing about this book. Ooh, only by 5 votes, dang. Imagine a library, each book represents a different path your life could have taken. Now imagine spending eternity in that library. Ooh, this sounds interesting. I know nothing of it. So since it only won by 5 votes, I'll probably read some of the other ones. Like I did last year, I tried to read a couple, at least a handful, or 1 or 2 of the other books that were also in the categories, especially categories like this, the fiction that I don't read a lot of. So the second book, and I usually try and do like the runner-up, sometimes I don't if it's like in a series. Other book that won is Frederick Backman's Anxious People, charming novel about crime that never took place. Would-be bank robber disappears. Okay. Interesting. I think I'm more interested in Midnight Library, but that's just me. Okay, now let's go to the mystery thriller category. I don't read a lot of mysteries or thrillers. I do like them a bit, but I just never like go to them. The winner is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Storm hits, 3-hour tour. I'm just kidding. Every time there's a storm that happens and the characters get like put somewhere or trapped somewhere, I think of Gilligan's Island. I'm sorry. That's just immediately where I go to. You go to this wedding and then there's a storm on a remote private island. Then a body is found. This sounds interesting. I haven't heard much about any of the other books in this category. I have heard things about The Wives, and I haven't heard great things about The Wives. So that's that. So the second runner-up is Home Before Dark, Rambling Victorian Estate. I don't think I'm interested in this one as much as the first one either. Just because the description that I'm seeing, like from GoodReads, just doesn't seem that interesting to me. Again, this is not what I read typically. So let's go to historical fiction. So this is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, that one, and I'm very excited about that. Very happy about that because actually The Vanishing Half has been on my like to read list for a while now. I've constantly been tracking it out of the library. I've just had obligations / have been too busy / it just didn't work out for me to actually read this because I've heard such great things. I've been so interested in about the discussion about race in the Black community and the identity and forming that identity, which is really interesting. So it's about 2 twin sisters. They're both like white passing. One decides to make their life in the Black world and the other decides to make their life in the white world, and it follows like multiple generations. The runner-up is the Jane Austen Society by Natalie Jenner. I haven't heard anything about this book. There's a large margin of votes. And so this says, after the Second World War, small English village of Chowton. What is up with English names? They confuse me. Like-minded group of people band together to make something remarkable. I want to see more, but I also don't. Interesting. I really like Jane Austen, so maybe I'll like this one too, but I'm definitely more interested in The Vanishing Half. Let's look at some of the other ones. Again, haven't heard anything about these. Fantasy. The fantasy winner is House of Earth and Blood. I've heard nothing about this book. Stitched through the threads of romance suspense, the novel follows a complex heroine, Bryce, and fallen angel as they track a lethal demon through the city. Could be interested. The romance might pull me in. I don't know. We'll see. It's a Sarah J. Maas book. I've not read any other Sarah J. Maas books. The runner-up is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've heard about this. I don't remember hearing anything either way. Story I'll never forget. France, 1714. Young woman makes a Faustian bargain to live forever and is crushed and forgotten by everyone. Okay, so this does sound interesting. This sounds more interesting than I think the winner, but that's just me, and the votes are very close too. So we'll see. Let's look and see if I've heard of any of the other ones. Whoop. I've heard really good things about Black Sun. I've heard lots of things about Black Sun. I might make an effort to read Black Sun because of like the representation in it. I know nothing about it other than it deals with like Native Americans. And yeah, I haven't heard anything about any of the other ones. Oh, I'm such a horrible person to do this with. This is why it's so fun in my opinion, because I get to discover new books. So this next for the romance category is From Blood and Ash, and I find the cover interesting. I'm like, okay, I've been really into like this sort of like romances that are like violent, not in the fact that the romances are violent, but there's violent things happening around them. Dark fantasy. We follow Poppy, a maiden, a warrior destined by the gods to live in a solitude forever, never to be touched. Rip, I'm so sorry for you, Poppy. That's horrible, horrible fate. No one should be ever fated to that unless you're asexual and don't want that. Then there's Hawk, her fellow guard, forbidden passion. Best way to bust up destiny. I love forbidden passion. Let's go for it. I'm into this already. And then the next one, runner-up, is Beach Read by Emily Henry. And I've heard things about this. I've heard it's light and fluffy, which might be something I need. Romance, yeah, I've heard about this. I've heard cute. I've heard that it's cute. It's a romance writer and like another writer. They're stuck in a rut, so they decide to like write in each other's genres. I've heard about that, but I'm way more interested in From Blood and Ash. Heard of nothing. So that's not true. I've heard about Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I heard that one's good. I also heard One to Watch, like mixed reviews on that. And then You Had Me at Hola, which that does sound interesting because I think it's like telenovela stars, something they fall in love. That sounds cute. Nothing else though. So some of the ones in the romance I might be remotely interested in reading, but I don't know. Let's hear about science fiction. Let's see. It's always a hard genre to categorize. So we have To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which is by Christopher Paolini. And if you couldn't tell, I like Paolini's books. Yeah, I have all of them. I want to get them all in Spanish as well. I'm working on it. I don't know anything about this book other than it's by Paolini, which automatically makes me interested in it. While scouting a yet uncolonized planet, Kira Navarez discovers an alien relic that will change the fate of Earth and its colonies. The resulting critical and commercial success. Okay, blah, blah, blah. First contact sci-fi template. Ooh, that sounds really interesting. I really like first contact narratives when they're done well and according to anthropology standards. But that's just me. I'm very picky about first contacts. I think it's really, really great stories. You can tell really awesome stories. I'm very interested. Is Paolini gonna pull in some archaeological fun stuff? I don't know, but that sounds really interesting to me. Let's see what the runner-up is. Oh, Bitches is already on my reading list. I'm gonna have to fucking read this. So next is Harold the Ninth, which is by Timothy Muir, and well, I just so happen to have it. Gideon the Ninth was also the runner-up of the science fiction category, which I don't personally consider this science fiction, but that's just me. Feels more fantasy than science fiction to me, but nevertheless, I fucking loved Gideon the Ninth, and I've been super excited to read Harold the Ninth. So I'm gonna be reading this. End of story. I'm hyped. I'm very hyped for that one. I really like the whole The Ninth, like whatever that trilogy is called, or at least in the upcoming year. I don't know what about some of the other books. I haven't heard anything about any of the other books. Move on to horror. Horror is something that like I don't gravitate to, but I also don't like dislike it. So the winner is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This sounded very interesting to me. I love the cover. I think it's very pretty. So we follow this woman and she's set... I I cannot read today, guys, clearly. I don't know what happens, but she winds up in this house. And again, really great discussions I think are going to happen about racism and colonialism. So the runner-up was Stephen King's If It Bleeds. I've read Stephen King before. I have some of his work. It's like hit or miss for me. I really, really like The Long Walk. That's my favorite of his. I might read that one. I've heard of the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. What is If It Bleeds about? I don't know. Let's see. It's a novella? I'm confused. Or a collection of novellas. I'm not sure. If any of you guys know if It Bleeds is a novella or not, let me know. Okay, that's a shit explanation in my opinion. So you have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which I haven't had any interest in reading. And then I've heard many good things about The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Heard lots of like body horror in that. I could be wrong. I have no interest in reading Mallory. This is like the sequel to Bird Box, which I have not read. I did watch the movie though. I thought it was an interesting concept. And I've not heard anything about any of the other books. So Strange Planet is the winner of the humor category, and that is by Nathan W. Pyle. I have heard nothing about this. By a cartoonist. Blue aliens that think and act as humans, but with a kind of hilarious kind of specificity and emotional intelligence. Okay, that seems like it could be cute, but it's not really grabbing me. I've seen No Thank You by Samantha Irby. The reasons I want to read is because I entered some giveaways. Giveaways are fun. I don't know anything about it. What does it say? I think it's like a memoir, essay collection. Okay. Aging, marriage. So it seems like it'd be like heavy funny. Haven't heard anything about this. I didn't know Trixie and Katya released something. I might read that just because it's Trixie and Katya and I love their personalities. Am I gonna buy it? We'll see how much I love it. And yeah, no, I haven't. Make Russia Great Again. That seems funny. All right, let's go to nonfiction, which is something I'm very excited about. As you guys know, I love nonfiction on this channel, so let's see. I know who won, but it's stamped Racism, Anti-Racism, and You. This is by Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kendi. I really like Ibram X. Kendi's work. I read his How to Be an Anti-Racist, and I thought that was a really good book. So I'm really glad a book like this won. So it's just a history of racism. It's good nutrition for your minds. I would say, yes, I deal with racism quite a lot and just talking about it and continuing conversations. And I think it's very important and it's something that you should always keep up on. So I'm not going to comment too much about like whether or not I've heard about these books because I've heard a lot about a lot of these different books. I don't want to say like I was disappointed by like the picks because I really wasn't. I just haven't been feeling the need to read a lot of the nonfiction that's come out in 2020, or I haven't been feeling compelled to. I'm probably going to read a lot of these with the BookTube Choice Award. So let's look at the second runner-up. So that's Hood Feminism, Notes from Women That a Movement Forgot by Mickey Kendall. So it talks about feminism. It's women. Mainstream feminists rarely talk about meeting basic needs of feminist issue. I think this is gonna be talking a lot about the intersection between like race and other minority identities within the feminism discussion, because feminism discussions being really white is a very big problem. Okay, let's move on to memoir and autobiography. Memoirs aren't my favorite, but we'll see. The winner is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Gonna be interested in that because it's Barack Obama. It's just gonna be his journey. It seems like it's gonna be very similar to Dreams of Our Father, but I don't know. Again, I don't really want to comment too much about the other ones because I'm probably going to be reading a lot of them. So The Untamed, which is not that untamed, different Untamed. I love the cover. It's super fun. It's super colorful. Stuff that I love to see. I love color. It's a voice of longing inside every woman. We strive to mightily be good mothers, good partners. Ooh, okay, interesting. So I think this is also going to talk about feminism. Interesting. Not gravitating to it as much because the other one is Barack Obama. I've heard good things about All Boys Aren't Blue too. There's some celebrity memoirs that I just have no interest in reading. But let's go on to history and biography. Let's see who won there. I don't remember. So this one is Cast, The Origins of Our Discontents. I've not heard anything about this. So what is this? So this is an argument that Americans are marred in an outdated and dangerous hierarchy system that goes deeper than race and class. The silver lining, it's not too late for meaningful change. That sounds really good. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. Again, I'm going to keep it light because I'm probably going to be reading a lot of these. In the next coming year, we'll just look at Splendid in the Vial by Eric Larson. This is talking about Churchill and World War II, which I don't want to read about. But this Black women's history of the United States, just by that title alone, makes it seem interesting. Okay. Okay, like how the South. Okay, that interesting title there. Very provocative. Let's move on to science and technology. This one is A Life on Our Planet, My Witness Statement and Vision for the Future by David Attenborough. I don't know who this person is. And Johnny Hughes. I don't know who either of those people are. This looks like it's going to be talking about climate change. Call to arms. Yeah, so real fun. Again, I don't want to talk too much about these because again, I'm probably going to. The second winner is How to Argue with a Racist by Adam Rutherford. I cannot speak. It's not a biological reality. Thank you. Yes, preach, bitch. Yeah, it's made up basically by humans. Anyone tries to tell you otherwise, they're wrong. This Why Fish Don't Exist, I'm really hoping that talks a lot about taxonomy and like how we classify shit. But other than that, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know what is up with the nonfiction books that have come out this year, but none of them have been like grabbing me the way that some of the titles last year were really grabbing me. So it'll be an interesting year. Cookbooks. Okay, good for you. I have no interest in cookbooks. Great, great. All these books look delicious. I've heard neither good nor bad things. Best graphic novel goes to Heartstopper Volume 3. I've heard really good things about the first two Heartstoppers, so it'll be interesting to go back and read 1 and 2 to read 3. And I know it's gay. I've been really craving gay shit, because I've been reading a lot of gay shit recently, mainly in the form of fan fiction. We're not going to get into that, and I haven't heard anything about anything else. So Fangs is the runner-up, and it's by Sarah Anderson, and it's a new gothic romance story. Vamp is 300 years old. She's never met her match. This sounds interesting. Let's do it. Sapiens, I kind of want to check that out just because I liked the actual Sapiens, wherever it is on my bookshelf. Oh, literally right here in front of my face, right here. Haven't heard anything good or bad. Okay. Yeah, no, have heard nothing about any of the other books. Poetry. I am not a huge fan of poetry in general because I don't like poetry. Poetry is not for me. Dearly, New Poems by Margaret Atwood. What is the through line between it? It's just that they're from personal to political to genuinely funny. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be a through line with these poems, which is okay. We'll see. We'll try. This next one is, oh my god, I cannot even see what that reads. It says Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. Is she famous? I feel like I've heard that name before. I don't know. Highly anticipated. Okay, I don't think I care. Sorry. Poetry is just not for me. I've heard good things about this Poems for the End of the World. At least I've seen it. This is great. So debut novel, that goes to Such a Fun Age by Keely Reid, and this has been in some drama. It looks interesting. Again, dealing with racism. I think she's like an African-American woman is babysitting, and then something happens, and she gets like accused of doing something bad in like a supermarket, I think. I'm not sure, but I've heard good things about this one too. So that will be a fun one to read. Again, I've heard good things about Cemetery Boys, which is the second runner-up, Trans Boy, Latinx Family, Paranoid. I think it has something to do with Dia de Muertos, which is super fun holiday. My Dark Vanessa, I've heard it's really good, but I just don't want to go there. Really dark topic of teenagers being abused by teachers, which is not okay. Yeah, again, same thing. I've not really heard anything about any of these. All right, let's see what one. Okay, so this is Clap When You Land. This is by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've not read anything else by her. I've heard really good things about this. It's about two like sisters who have the same father but different mothers, and they're from different countries, and their father dies and it like brings them together. So it'll be interesting. I think it's going to talk about grief and sad things and racism, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. The runner-up is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, crime thriller. Okay. Female detective. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of detective stories, but okay, I've heard good things about Felix Ever After. I haven't really heard much of any of these. I know what one fantasy and I know what one science fiction. I'm a little bit disappointed by it. And that's The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, which is the third book in the freaking Cruel Prince series. I'm not a big fan of that series. And this one third, so woohoo. At least I don't have to read The Wicked King and The Cruel Prince again. And then the runner-up is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the new Hunger Games book that I really have no interest in reading. I've heard nothing about Chain of Gold. I've seen it. Midnight Sun is Midnight Sun. Heard mixed things about Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I don't think I'm going to read it because I have to read the first book in the series, Cemetery Boys. Again, heard good things. Cinderella is Dead has been, I've like seen it. Seems interesting to me, but I like twisted fairy tales. Middle grade and children's could be unsurprising. It's The Tower of Nero, which is Rick Riordan book. I think he's going to always take this category. I've been liking The Trials of Apollo, and I think this is the last Trials of Apollo book. Very, very interested to read that one because I've been liking I like the first 4 books. What am I gonna say? The runner-up is The One and Only Bob. What is this? Who is Bob? Hurricane. Time is running out. Okay, interesting. What's with the animals? That's what I want to know. What's with the animals? And again, I don't follow middle grade that much, so I haven't heard of like any of these. All right, let's go to picture books. I don't know. Picture books it's just so like far removed from where I am that I just don't know if I can like enjoy them. But this is Anti-Racist Baby. This is by Ibram X. Kendi, and illustrations done by Ashley Lavashki. I can't. English is too hard of a language. Yeah, so I mean, I'm interested because it's Ibram X. Kendi who wrote this. It looks cute. Runner-up is Just Like Me, which is by Vanessa Bradley Newton. Scrapes her knees, flowers in her hair, every girl in between. Okay, interesting. I like that the messages, so like the ones who are winning the picture books are like positive messages for children. Again, I don't know anything about any of these picture books. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. That's really it. I know I'm going to have a fun and interesting year. I will say in the future that the 2 categories that I'm considering like not reading in the future are like the cookbooks, because it's a fucking cookbook and I'm lazy and I don't want to cook all the recipes, and the picture books just because it's so far removed and I have a very hard time like connecting to it, and I don't have kids. Maybe if I had kids or some young humans to read these books to, I might feel a bit more inclined to read the picture books, but very excited for some. I think I'm mostly more excited than I am like nervous. The only one I'm kind of nervous about is The Queen of Nothing. The other ones like all seem somewhat interesting to me. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which book are you the most excited for and which book are you the least excited for? Bye.